Hi, thank you for joining us for this episode of Springdale Today. I'm your host, Mary Jordan. Today we're joined by Springdale's Executive Director of Student Services, Damon Donnell, District Safety Coordinator, Larry Little, and Hellstern Middle School CSSO, Bobby Beatty. We're going to be chatting about our CSSOs at our school and creating a safe school environment for students, staff, and families. Thank you all for being here today.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Damon, let's start with you. I hear you talk about creating a culture of safety in our schools. Can you tell us a little bit more about what you feel that looks like?
Yes. Creating a culture of safety, I believe, goes far beyond just running drills and locked doors. It's about creating a shared responsibility for safety, not just with our SROs and CSSOs and emergency responders, but also our students, staff, and families, that they also make safety that shared responsibility and the number one priority of our district. And you ask kind of what it looks like. It looks like visible and approachable, where our staff are building trusting relationships. It looks like open channels of communication where everyone feels comfortable reporting safety concerns. And we have to remember too, if you see something,
Say something.
That's exactly right. If you see something, say something. And then it also looks like consistency, where everyone adheres and respects district protocols for safety. But most importantly, it looks like preparation, where everyone is confident in their training and that they know what to do because of that training in the event of an emergency.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Absolutely.
Now, we have restructured our CSSOs in our schools this year. Can you tell us a little bit about what occurred and what led to some of that decision making?
Sure. We met with our great partners, Springdale PD and Taneytown PD, and through conversations, we made some decisions to reorganize our middle school coverage for SROs to CSSOs. And then also at Rollins Elementary, we did that as well with Taneytown PD. And we did that just in good conversations, trying to be the very best stewards that we can be in our community.
Okay. Larry, would you help us understand a little bit about the difference between a SRO and a CSSO?
Sure, I'd love to. SROs, school resource officers, these are sworn law enforcement officers who are employed by the police department. They have all of the rights and powers thereunto, as it were. They can write tickets. They have the power to detain, and all that comes with being a sworn law enforcement officer. Commissioned school security officers, or CSSOs, they are not sworn law enforcement. Their primary duty is to confront an active assailant with lethal force if necessary. That's also the primary duty of the SRO. That's one thing that they share. Job number one is to keep our kids safe. And we have been so blessed in the district to have amazing SROs over the course of time. And the CSSOs are picking up that mantle and running with it as well. So Springdale is a very, very fortunate district indeed to have such caring people watching after their students.
Yeah. Is there a relational aspect to the SROs and CSSOs beyond simply keeping schools secure?
Oh, there better be. and I can say with 100% assurity, going into every school building throughout the school year several times all throughout the year, our SROs and our CSSOs are outstanding at building those relationships with our students and our staff as well. When students are having a tough time, they know that in many times SROs and CSSOs are the only safe place that those kids have. Things may not be as safe and stable at home as they need to be. And then when they go to school, things may not be as safe and stable among their peers as they would like for them to be. But every student knows when they see that guy in the Springdale PD uniform or the CSSO uniform, they can go there and find safety and security, somebody to talk to, somebody to care about them. And that is a very, very big comfort from a parent standpoint, and as well as kids as well.
It has to mean a lot to the students. Damon, I was wondering, do we have any kind of safety council, or are we working or consulting with local fire and emergency responders and police about any of our practices and policies that we're using in our school?
Yeah, quote safety council. We don't have a safety council, but we do have building safety teams, and we also have a district safety team that we meet on a regular basis. And as to answer the second part of your question, do we partner with those groups? Yes. I mean, everything we do in Springdale as it relates to safety is filtered through either the Springdale PD, Taneytown PD, Springdale Fire, Washington County Sheriff's Department. We're always learning from each other, asking questions, and getting better each and every day with safety.
And Bobby, I've had a chance to see you a couple times out at the school. What led to your decision to serve as a CSSO?
Well, when I first applied for the position, what really attracted me to it was a couple things. The first one was I saw an opportunity to kind of take the skills that I have and knowledge that I have from previous experiences with my profession and really apply that to the most important people in our district, and that's protecting our children. The second thing was when I applied 3 years ago, the CSSO program was really in its infancy. And so I saw another opportunity to be a part of something really special that I thought. And Mr. Donnell had a very clear vision of where he wanted the program to go, and I immediately bought into it.
What was that? Where did you want the program to go, so to speak?
You know, we always want folks who work in our school district to first and foremost love kids. You know, I mean, we've said that from the very beginning. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have to have people around kids that want to be around kids. Secondly, we just have to create a culture where it's not just a few people's responsibility for safety, meaning CSSOs or SROs. It's everyone's responsibility for safety. And those were two of the big pinnacles that we talked about, we started with, and we carried forward till today, is making it a shared responsibility, always getting better at getting better. We're talking about that every time too. And then that we have to have people around our kids that love kids. I mean, I can't imagine somebody working in a school that doesn't like kids. We have to have people around us that love kids and care about kids. So.
Well, and you have a wealth of experience that's coming into it with not just our CSSOs and their training, but also the fact that we are collaborating with local emergency responders. Larry, what does collaboration across multiple agencies mean for the school district?
There's an open sharing of information that's going to make all of us better. When you have free flow of information, that first of all, it keeps the information from being siloed, and this group isn't fully sharing with that group or anything. That we have found that when everybody has access to the same kind of information, everybody is able to help families and students and staff in whatever capacity they may need help in their particular discipline. And to be able to help students and families with whatever need they have in whatever way we possibly can has proven to be a huge benefit to the whole overall learning environment. It's worked out very well.
I want to add something to what he just said. He said that shared communication. I mean, we have, little safety things that go on in the district each and every day. And for today, for example, we're sharing communication back and forth with Springdale PD, back and forth with Mr. Little, and also back and forth with CSSOs, so that we're all on the same page at the same time and all know the same information, so that we can make the very best response that we can make. So that was just one example from today. So
I'm really grateful for that collaboration. So today we are chatting with Springdale Executive Director of Student Services, Damon Donnell, District Safety Coordinator Larry Little, and Hellstern Middle School CSSO Bobby Beatty about the district's safe school initiatives. Damon, how is the district staying abreast of developments in safety practices, technology, things of that nature?
We always, I'm going to start with our CSSOs and our SROs. We try to take those expertise areas that they have, and we learn from those areas. That's first and foremost. We do that in all of our trainings. When we train together, we try to find somebody with an expertise in X, Y, or Z, and then we learn from those folks, because that's the best people to learn from, the people who've already done it, not a book. And so then we also partner with the Arkansas School Safety Center and also the Criminal Justice Institute. We learn from all types of learnings that the U.S. Secret Service Department has put out. And then we also, in addition to all of that, we are continually looking at other national organizations and other districts around our area, because we want to learn, not reinvent the wheel really, but we want to learn if somebody has an issue in one district, then we want to learn from them about how they handled that, and then we're more prepared to handle that in the future. Right. I will say about technology, I think you mentioned that. We use Catapult EMS as our emergency management system. That is an immediate notification to our staff, students, and families. Also, we have invested funds into weapons detection systems. So we're really trying to stay on the forefront of all of those issues that are out there for safety.
And we're grateful for that. You touched a little bit on training. Larry, can you tell us a little bit about what the CSSO training looks like?
If I could, I'd like to hand that question off to Bobby, since he does Bobby and Dale Teague do pretty much all of our training of our new officers in-house. Early on, we used to farm that out to a private company. But then we trained 2 of our CSSOs to have all of our training in-house, and it involves a 60-hour training course that every new officer has to go through, and then after that, I believe it's a 24-hour refresher every year afterwards. But Bobby Beatty and Dale Teague are 2 CSSOs who have been trained to actually train all of our new officers, do an outstanding job at that. So I would be remiss if I didn't let Bobby speak to that a little bit more.
Larry mentioned the 60-hour course, and it's all regulated by the Arkansas State Police, and they put a lot of requirements in that training in that 60 hours. We have to be CPR certified by the end of it. We have to do a weapons qualification. We have to do case studies of active assailants, and all this culminates on the last day, where we put all the training into practice in a scenario-based training. So we do 10 hours. We have role players. We have all the equipment that we need, and we just try to simulate what these officers would experience in an active assailant situation. And just we judge them on, or we score them on the decisions that they make during that scenario. And it's been really fantastic, because we need a lot of support from schools to do that. Certain elementary schools will go to and hold this event, and our elementary schools have been really great, letting us go in their building on Saturday and set up all of our stuff. And then Officer Scott with the Springdale Police Department, he provides all of our role players during that event, and we could not hold that event without him supplying our role players when we do that class. So I'm really grateful for the help that I've received trying to achieve this. It's been great.
I had no idea that you guys were doing the active component of that. That's so interesting. And
that's not only one-time training, that's a 4 times a year training that we do. That whole active piece of the training is 4 different times during the school year.
And what kind of training did you have prior to coming to this position that you feel really kind of contributes to what you can bring to the district as a CSSO?
Well, I've learned a lot through the military. I did that for 15 years. You learn tactics and how to lead people, things like that. As a probation and parole officer, you learn how to interact with people that aren't necessarily going through the best situation, how to de-escalate things. And I think I draw a lot from that experience. I think it transitions well into the middle school, but I think the experience I draw the most from is that of being a father. Because military and probation and parole doesn't necessarily prepare you to interact with a middle school student. So 3 of my 5 children are in the school or in Springdale School District. And I just try to imagine if my kid is, when they're in their building and they're having a bad day, or they did something really well, or maybe they did something wrong, I try to envision how I want the adults in their building to interact with them and what I want them to say to my child. And I use that when I interact with students at Hellstern or Beatty or wherever I've been. So that experience as a father is, I think, is probably what's helped me the most.
Larry, is this level of experience and preparedness typical for the CSSOs we have serving in our schools?
It is. Not every one of our CSSOs come from a law enforcement or combat veteran background, but all of our officers are very highly trained and have a lot of, it's a wealth of experience. One of our officers is the elder statesman of the group, and we just placed a guy this year who's in his very early 20s. And so the age ranges, the different walks of life, the different backgrounds, they all mesh together. Once you unite all of these people from all these different backgrounds under the same umbrella of keeping staff and students safe at our schools and giving them that common shared purpose, it's an amazing thing to watch all these people who are so different come together and unite and kind of build this amazing force of people that we have who just want to keep everybody safe as we possibly can.
And Bobby, how do you balance that aspect of being a protector with building positive, trusting relationships with students?
Well, it definitely is a balance, and the balance is important, because if you're security focused and you miss out on the connection with the students, you come across as very intimidating, and you're just a uniform in the building. But on the other side, if you have the connection but you're lacking the awareness of what's going on around you, that could be really risky. So I balance that by doing the small things, like saying hi in the hallway, or listening to their stories. Like I had a student earlier this week. We had the long weekend, and I was helping him cross the road, and I asked him how his weekend was, and he was really excited to tell me that he just started the first chapter of the book that he's writing. And so now we talk about the main character in the story. We talk about how far he's gotten along in the story. I try to give him some advice. He doesn't like my advice. He knows what he wants to write. But just doing small things like that, when you do that on a consistent basis, you start to build trust. And when you build that trust, students kind of figure out, hey, this guy, he kind of cares what's going on. And when you have that trust and they know that you genuinely care about them, they're more likely to come to you with an issue that they may have that they can't solve on their own.
Right. What do you hope families and students understand about your role in the school?
I hope that people understand about our position in the school is, I don't feel like I'm there just in case something goes wrong. I try to take it upon myself and teach other officers that if you're going to be more proactive, we're there to make sure everything goes right. So I want students to feel like when they come to school, they have a safe place to learn and to grow. And I want parents to understand that when they drop their kid off, they have somebody in the building that takes their responsibility seriously, and they're checking in on things, and they're being a part of the school community every day.
Well, we're very, very grateful that we're there. Larry, what kind of conversations are you having with students and staff when it comes to safety, about how they have a role within keeping safe schools as well?
I try and have conversations to make staff and students alike aware of the issue that it's the little things. It's the little everyday, seemingly mundane things that stack up over time that promotes to the culture of safety that Mr. Donnell has done so well at instituting district-wide. Crosswalk safety. I had the best fun out at Jones Elementary a week ago, taking 5th grade students back and forth across a crosswalk, and telling them the story. Hey, I saw a bunch of big, strong football players, and they weren't using the crosswalk, but you guys are in 5th grade, and you guys know how to do and just different things like that. I found out that some pre-K kids who were there at the assembly that day went home and told their mom what they learned, that you have to look both ways when you cross the street. And so to be able to hear the impact that just a simple talk about this is a crosswalk and this is how you cross it made on both 5th grade students and pre-K students alike, that kind of gave me a good little smile on a Friday. I was appreciative of that.
I'm glad to hear that. You guys as educators and security individuals should probably never realize just how many lives you touch. You know?
Absolutely.
So I'm wondering, as we look at all this, Damon, how do we measure success on something of this nature? How do we know that we successfully are doing everything we can to keep our families safe?
Yeah, I really struggled with this question. I don't think anybody's ever asked me that question before. And as I sat in my office and thought through that, I thought, success is measured when everyone is taking responsibility and keeping safety as a shared responsibility and making it a top priority. And, I wrote on here on this note I put, it's seen in strong, trusting relationships. Mr. Beatty talked about that. Mm-hmm. It's seen in open communication. Both of them talked about that. It's seen in a culture where safety is a part of everything we do. So not just, hey, we're going to talk about safety at the safety meeting, but we're going to talk about safety 5 minutes before our curriculum meeting, or 5 minutes into our ELL meeting, or 5 minutes into safety. It just is about everything we do. And, I wrote this down as well. I said, when everybody is secure, valued, that's really important, respected, and ready to learn or lead, that's when we know we're getting it right. Yep. So I don't believe that without safety, we can have really secure learning in our district. We have to feel safe before we can even start the process of learning. So I'm very thankful for these two and the whole entire team. Yep. I want to give a big shout out to Sergeant Treat and Ray. Without those two, none of this would be possible. Also our superintendent, Dr. Jared Cleveland, and our school board for supporting all of these initiatives with safety. And really this whole team effort. We've been talking about team. I don't know if we've mentioned that a lot, but we've been talking about team this whole time. And without this team, it's really not possible. This team that has a huge servant's heart to come in and do the work that needs to be done, that's really that success piece. Yep.
That's amazing. And I'm grateful for all that you guys have shared today. And is there anything else that's a part of this conversation that you guys think would be important to mention that I just simply hadn't considered?
Safety starts at home.
How so?
Parents need to understand that whether they believe it or not, whether their kids acknowledge it or not, parents are the primary influencer of their kids, no matter what. And we can talk about safety all day long. We can do all of these things right, but unless parents are driving it at home and setting the expectation of their kids to do the right things and the safe things all the time, even when nobody's watching, it's not enough. Safety begins at home. Safety starts small and grows into great big things, and it's not near as hard as we make it sometimes.
Yeah, putting on your seatbelt even. It's not a hard thing, but sometimes we can't get that seatbelt on, right?
So simple. So simple.
All right.
Yep.
Well, thank you all for being here today. We're so, so grateful.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate this.
Well, I enjoyed the conversation,
Yeah.
and I think that our families will enjoy hearing everything that you guys are doing, and we appreciate your showing up. And I mentioned this before, but you guys are volunteering for these jobs. Mm-hmm. You don't have to do this. You're choosing to serve in our schools and to protect our families. So thank you. We're very
100%.
grateful for all you're doing.
Thank you.
That you're choosing to do.
It's an honor.
You can catch this and previous episodes of Springdale Today on YouTube, Facebook, or Instagram, and listen to the podcast on iTunes, Spotify, or your favorite podcast app. Thank you for joining us for this conversation, and we look forward to chatting with you next time on Springdale Today.
Springdale Today is a production of Springdale Public Schools Communication Office.
The podcast is hosted by Mary Jordan and is produced and edited by Micah DeLacy.
Be sure to subscribe to Springdale Today for free on your favorite podcast platform.
And don't forget to follow Springdale Today on social media for episode updates and behind-the-scenes conversations.
Thank you for listening. We hope you'll join us in the future
as we continue to learn about the amazing stories happening in Springdale today.